So, welcome to the PBAL Season 3 Week 1 match of the Dallas Staryu as we face off against the previous season champion, Unlucky Lucario, and his Carolina Pansears. This will be a very difficult match, and we do want to establish ourselves in this league. It has been quite a while since we've last had a match, so I'm sure we will have to kick some of the rust off. But here we go. So we kick off this battle as Ryan, aka Unlucky Lucario, challenges us to a battle. And we will see what he leads off with, as he leads off with the Gastrodon, a very passive, defensive lead, but one that could do some work nonetheless. And I do bring the Trini the Raikou. Now Raikou is something that he would not expect because everything on his team resists electric. It's not a very good Pokemon against his team, but we brought this Raikou as a supportive Pokemon, and as you can see, we set up the Light Room expecting an Earth Power. However, this Gastrodon is tricky. He has the physical Earthquake, and therefore does quite a bit of damage to our Raikou. But that is okay. He doesn't know that I can't actually touch him except for Toxic. But I will set up the Reflect because this is how we are going to start setting up on our sweeping Pokemon. So we get the Reflect up, he does Earthquake again, and as you can see, because of the double defense from the Earthquake, from the Reflect, we will live this hit. Now he does go out of Gastrodon into Florges, as we want to get some passive damage off, really on the Gastrodon, but I'll take it on the Florges too, and we do land a Toxic on his Florges. If he has Aromatherapy, he will be forced to use it now. He could also go for an attack such as Moonblast or even a Wish or Protect just to see what I want to do. But at this point, we are just going to switch out of here and try to start setting up. We do Volt Switch, and what makes the most sense to switch into a Florges? Why, that would be our Edward Scissorhands, the Scissor. And that is exactly what we are going to do. Now, Unlucky Lucario here, he does not want to be Toxic at all, so he does use the Aromatherapy to get rid of that Toxic Poison. And that puts us in a great position, because with the Oka Berry, we will live a potential HP Fire. He's probably not going to want to take a Bullet Punch, and we can just set up the Agility, and that is exactly what we can do. Now going into Scrafty is great. He does have the Intimidate to lower my attack drop, but we do have our team captain, Kommo-o, unchained with the Belly Drum this week, and that Intimidate drop will not matter at all once I click the Belly Drum. And the beauty of this Scrafty is this, as well as the Mega Manectric, cannot do greater than 50% on Kommo-o. So Kommo-o is going to have the opportunity here to set up. And we baton pass that Agility out, and he Fire Punches, and Fire Punch does not do a thing to Kommo-o. So this is the point where we will beat our belly and get that attack up. He goes into Florges, and Florges is not going to like anything that comes from a +6 Kommo-o. That is for sure. We are now at +6 with the Drain Punch, the Earthquake, the Iron Head as our moves. Now he has an Intimidate core of Landorus Therian, Scrafty, and Mega Manectric, so in order to not get swept, he does have to wheel around his Intimidators. And he does just that with Scrafty as we go for the Iron Head, because we don't want to do Earthquake if Landorus Therian comes in and then he just gets a free Intimidate. So we do Iron Head this Scrafty. And this Scrafty reveals himself to be a Rocky Helmet variety, chipping off 1/6 of my HP, which does hurt quite a bit. We don't really want to do that again, so we will Earthquake, but he switches out into Landorus this turn, meaning that Earthquake is ineffective, and we are now at +4 after 2 Intimidates. Now at +4, we can still kill this Landorus with the Iron Head. So that is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to attack what is in front of us to try to get that kill. as he does go back out into the Scrafty. And this Scrafty is going to take us down to +3, and it is also going to take the Drain Punch actually, because I want to get HP back. Which at +4 Landorus Therian, I would have gotten enough HP back to live in Earthquake, so that is good. Unfortunately, with this Rocky Helmet, we are not sitting at a great amount of health. Scrafty does go down, but he is going to bring in his Florges. Now, Florges at +3 at that health will die to an Iron Head, which he knows he has, and also an Earthquake. But if he's bringing it in against Kommo-o, knowing that I have Iron Head, he has to be Babiri Berry. And that's exactly what he was. So we're going to Earthquake, and we are going to knock this Florges out. Unlucky Lucario says that it was a roll, but I disagree, not at 75%. By my calculations, a +3 Kommo-o definitely killed an Earthquake, with Earthquake of Florges that is max defense. So I think we got it. Now he does bring in the Landorus one more time for another Earthquake. I cannot do the Normalium Z belly drum on this because he can do greater than 50% against me with Earthquake. So I do have to Iron Head, hoping for a flinch, which I do not get, and he will end this Django-O's run with the Earthquake, which is highly unfortunate, but what can you do? Django-O, the captain, did start this season off with 2 impressive kills. Now we do have other setup sweepers, so we do want to start getting screens back up, hoping that he will kill me, and I can start setting up with something else behind my screen. So we will set up the Reflect, because what is in front of me is a physical attacker, and I would prefer to have the defense, but he does reveal the Swords Dance, and that Swords Dance does negate the Reflect, unfortunately. Because of that, we want to put this thing on a timer, so the appropriate move now is the Toxic, and that is exactly what we are going to do. So this Landorus Therian only has so many turns in which he can do things. Now he will kill me this time with the Earthquake, because there's no point in letting me hang around with screens like that. And we will try to set up now with our boy Baby Life behind the Reflect screen. Landorus Therian is going to take a little bit of residual damage from that Toxic, and in comes Baby Life. Now we know that he's got +2 attack, and we are behind Reflect. But this Baby Life is really, really bulky. Unfortunately, we did not invest in speed, because that would have enabled me to baton pass this next boost out. But he is going to Z move with the Z Earthquake to do a massive amount of damage to Mew here, making it to where Mew is definitely not going to baton pass out this barrier that he is about to do. So sad, but that is the truth. Look at that animation. I am so glad that Sword and Shield are getting rid of Z-moves, because Z-moves are the absolute worst. We do set up a barrier, but it doesn't matter because we cannot live anything anymore. Not even at +2 defense behind a Reflect. It is sad, but it is true. However, it does make it to where if he wants to kill me, he has to take some more toxic damage, so there is that. And he does choose to do so with the Earthquake, and we hope that he has low enough HP where the toxic damage will kill him, but our hopes are not going to meet our expectations, and he does hang on with just a sliver, so he will be able to do another attack or come back in. Now we will go into Scissored Hand because we do have the Bullet Punch, and we're actually going to set up again here because I can live the +2 Earthquake. We are, after all, still behind a screen. So he goes into Manectric. Mega Manectric, that is. We set up the Agility. We have the Okaberry. We can live one Flamethrower. It doesn't really matter if he gets the burns because this Scissor here is not meant for the physical offense. It is a supporting Scissor. So he does Mega up, and he is going to predict, because why would a Scissor normally stay in against a Mega Manectric that normally carries Flamethrower? I mean, it's a good read on his part. but we stay in, and we're going to get another agility boost. He does intimidate me, which means I can't take this down into Crocodile, but what can you do? I'm not sure why we bullet punch here. Kind of dumb, but he does signal beam here, and that is going to not do a whole lot to me. Now he's thinking, oh man, he stayed in. We can still leave a flamethrower though, so we are going to get our agility boost here. We are at +4 speed. Now this speed is significant because it's going to affect stored power, and it's going to affect the power trip that our Crocodile has. So no matter what we choose to go into, these boosts do affect the power of those moves. Since we have the Intimidate boost, the obvious choice is going to be the Togekiss with the stored power. Especially since I really want Togekiss to activate that weakness policy and hopefully sweep with the stored power. So Hindenburg comes in, +4 speed, stored power is at 100 base power with that. He goes for the signal beam, expecting the baton pass into Crocodile, but that is not what we're going to go into. So we do get to keep quite a bit of our health. Reflect does wear off this turn. Very long reflects due to the light clay. We are going to Nasty Plot to get up to +2 special attack, as Mega Manectric does not want to take any chances, and he is going to Volt Switch out. Now with that Volt Switch, as you can see, it does quite a bit of damage. He will go out into Victini. And now we are at +2 special attack, +4 speed. Stored power will do 140, but that's not going to be enough for this. So we have to get a flinch. Unfortunately, the Air Slash does miss here. And he's going to knock me out with the Volt Strike. Now I would have actually had to get 2 flinches because this Victini is in fact Assault Vested, which is a good ring on his part. So Togekiss unfortunately does not live up to expectations, and we lost yet another sweeper. Now we have another ace in the hole, and that is King K. Rool here. But based on the position we're at, our Scarfed Earthquake is going to kill Victini. But based on this position, it's not looking very good, especially since that Landorus is still around. We will get the Moxie boost, but because I reveal the Scarf, he knows that he can come in with the Landorus. He can get the -1 to take away that Moxie, and I can't do anything with him. So I got 2 choices here. I can switch out to be able to choose a different move, because he can also switch out to preserve this guy. Or I can go for the Earthquake again, because if he switches out, I catch whatever comes in. Or if he stays in, he dies to Toxic. But I do switch out here into Scissor to sack it off, as he will switch out himself, pulling that double to preserve the Landorus into Manectric, and there is nothing that I can do about it. Now, had we Earthquaked, that would have been a different story. We would have honestly been at neutral again because of the kill from Moxie on Crocodile, but he would have been forced to go into his Gastrodon and fish for the Skull Burn. So now we are in a worse position with our King K. Rool. Our only choice is to go for the knockoff, hoping that he will switch back out into the Tornadus. But he doesn't do that, and we end up having to drop to this Mega Manectric, and we will lose this battle, unfortunately. It was a great match. We had our opportunities to win, but we are facing off against the champion of last season, so no regrets. I do think that we played quite a scrappy match, and I hope that we can have a rematch in the playoffs, which it would be in the finals. So that we can get our revenge. But we will see. We're going to bullet punch because that's all we got, and it's not going to do anything. So, yeah, he's going to Flamethrower. That's going to take out Scissor. And that is a GG to Unlucky Lucario. So I hope you enjoyed that match. The Dallas Staryu is now 0-1 with a -2 differential. And we do face off against Koala T Trainer and his Athens Hydras next week. So stay tuned.